welcome. You're watching NDTV. Our program, the winner is, and we know who the winner is. It is the Congress in Karnataka. And there you can see the results that are now in. Remember, so far, the numbers that NDTV is showing you are the leads. But these are the results. 128 seats have been declared. So 82 seats for the Congress and BJP with 32. And the JDS 13. The Congress has gained 32 seats. So these are 32 seats that they had lost the last time around, and they have gained those 32 seats. So far, the leads that NDTV is showing 139 for the Congress. So a sweep in Karnataka for the Congress. We've been talking to all our analysts here, but let's now also go across to someone who's been waiting very patiently, and we can go across now to Mr. Shankar Shetty, who's joining us as well. Thank you so much for your patience. And now, if we've been analyzing these results and what worked for the Congress, the 40% campaign that they had, the pro-poor campaign that they had, something that they've had in other states as well. But why do you think it's worked so well here so much that we're seeing this massive sweep for the Congress?
See, in Karnataka, the same government is not repeated since 1985. But this time what happened, no? After the removal of Yadurappa from the chief ministership 2 years back, the fall down of the BJP started. Actually, Yadurappa is the well-defined leader of BJP, and he is a master leader of not only his community Lingayat, and he is a master leader of all the communities. Lingayat is the very dominant community in Karnataka. Once he has been removed from the chief ministership and he has submitted his resignation with the tears, people of the Lingayat caste has one-sided they are voting for BJP. This time their vote has been splitted, and some around 30% of the votes have gone to Congress also. And the second point is the Congress upcoming up the Congress. 1 year back in last August, 75th birthday of Chidambaram is celebrated in Davangere. More than 10 lakh people have joined there, and this has given a momentum to the Congress campaign. And in fact, he is the mass leader. And you may be aware of that, whichever the survey it may be, who is the best preferred Chief Minister of Karnataka, around 35% of the people are voting for Siddharamaya, and only 15% are voting for Bommai, and around 10-12% are voting for DK Kumar. People voting 5% for the DK Shikumar. But this election is joint leadership of DK Shikumar and Siddharamaya. DK Shikumar led in the front as the leader of the party of the state union. He led in the
all right.
And he is the real.
Well, now the focus is on who is going to be Chief Minister of Karnataka, and in between this issue that we've seen between DK Shiv Kumar and Siddharamaya, we also have Mr. Naresh Arora joining us, Congress campaign strategist, and congratulations, quite the victory. It's a sweep. 139 are the leads that NDTV is currently showing. We just heard from Mr. Shankar Shetty talking about more about what did not work for the BJP, with the fact that they did not have a leader like Yadurappa. But tell us about what worked for the Congress here, and we have many analysts in studio talking about how this time the Congress really hit the ground running. Your leadership, DK Shiv Kumar as well as Siddharamaya, this 40% campaign that you ran, also the campaign, the pro-poor promises that were made, and that is something that you really managed to, put out there to the public, and that seems to have translated into this support.
First of all, thank you, Gargi, for your wishes. Yes, it is a very sweet moment today after 2 years of hard work. And I have seen some of the television since morning because I was not able to. But I have seen one thing missing from the analytic part, and that is about the sustained campaign of 2 years. It is not a campaign of 6 months or 3 months. It is a campaign of 2 years, 2.5 years since Mr. Shiv Kumar became the president. And it has the biggest difference between this campaign or any other Congress campaign has been the time taken to swill. And it has been a sustained campaign. It has not relented even for a day. And that is what people like. People always praise and reward hard work. And that is what I think that today's results indicate.
And is this a template that we're going to see the Congress perhaps using going forward, considering how successful it has been here in Karnataka? You also have the Rajasthan elections. I think you're involved with that. Is this something that the Congress will now realize that this is how they have to fight these elections?
First of all, Gargi, you cannot buy time with money. You have seen in the past Congress people, Congress leaders keep complaining about the the endless resources which BJP pumps in. But resources alone cannot or win or determine an election. They cannot buy time. And even if Congress would be able to match them with resources, they will not be able to get the time and the hard work which BJP puts on the ground. Regarding a template, I'll just take you back 5 years when Chhattisgarh election was won. It was based on a very different kind of a campaign, which the Congress top leadership was also in acknowledgement of, but then it was not replicated. Every state has a different dynamic, first of all. And then the people who decide, people who run these or take these decisions need to remember that you have to ensure that you have time in hand and you don't do flash in a pan kind of activities. You need to do things relentlessly and consistently.
All right, and everybody in Delhi and everybody on the news channels have analyzed what the whole Bajrang Dal controversy, what it meant for the Congress, what it meant for the BJP. In your mind, how did that work or not work on the ground?
Honestly, in our trackers, in our surveys, it was never a factor on the ground. The election, the polarization template, which generally is associated with BJP, was never working on the ground. I have seen it in the last 2 years. It never worked. Whether it was at the height and peak of halal and hijab kind of controversies, our trackers never showed any kind of a vote-changing resonance with the people. Yes, these are media conversations. These are conversations for social media. But if you ask me that if the voting pattern was being affected, I never saw that. At least in my surveys, it was never on never seen. So similar was the case.
All right, well, let's move away from that. But what has been quite significant, and all our analysts are looking at these numbers and vote share and talking about how the Congress has managed this time to capture a significant amount of the Lingayat vote.
Yes, see, of course, when Mr. Yediyurappa was removed from the chief ministership and Mr. Bomai was sworn in, there was a big heartbreak amongst the Lingayat vote bank, which was reflected in our understanding, in our assessments on the ground also. And I think somewhere that has come to hit BJP back. Secondly, I also see, it might be seen as something which I might be in a biased manner, but Mr. Shivkumar has been working very consistently with the Lingayat Mutt Swamijis, the ones who actually influence, who have a very big role in these elections because they determine they are running some social organizations and they are a big influencer players in the field of it. And Mr. Shivkumar had built quite good relationship with them, and Lingayat vote was, according to our assessment, it was always coming to Congress and it was going away from BJP.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Naresh Arora, for joining us here on NDTV. Well, we'll continue to analyze those results. And yes, Nalini Singh.
You're asking about
yes,
Yediyurappa. This result today has made the Yediyurappas relevant for the next 5 years. If the BJP had won, then Yediyurappa would not be relevant, but it shows that you cannot insult anybody in politics. So therefore, any arrogance or anything saying that I am it's me and mine, that doesn't seem to be working. And with great regard for the fact that I'm speaking about the Prime Minister, but at the moment I'm speaking about Mr. Narendra Modi, the campaigner, to say, to take up questions, of course, Bajrang Bali, but to take up a manufactured outrage on sovereignty. Who can say in the last 50 years nobody has said that that Karnataka will secede from India, or even implying that. So I think that is one, and the other one is that
Do you think that was a sense of desperation, because it was a rather silly sort of issue for the BJP to raise up, going to the election commission, and but they really I think it was propagated kind of linked, and were quite
linked to the continuing topic of nationalism in a way. How dare you touch? But nobody was touching. People saw through that. But I must say that Gargi, he's talking about money. Actually, we as people sitting here must talk about the 15 to 20 crores per candidate that was spent on in these elections. I mean, think of where the money is coming from, who is earning it, where will it now? What are the IOUs that are now going to be? Those things we have to follow. And then may I be,
which is a problem for Indian politics as a whole. And I know all of you have been decades ahead of me in journalism and have been talking about
but also to think that at 10 o'clock this morning the anchors were still talking about resort politics. I mean, this is a democracy.
And it's become something we just take for granted. Are they going to now put their
you guys were saying that they have
their MLAs in resorts
Tamil Nadu and there's somebody said it. But I just want to have one naughty comment. What is the Godi media thinking today?
Well, I think that we'll have to ask them, but yes, Ajay.
Gargi, I want to raise a larger point here. Because with this terrible defeat in Karnataka, the BJP has lost its only foothold in southern India.
We heard Mr. Bhupesh Baghel say that
absolutely.
BJP moved
and I think
South
that
India.
has a significance which is beyond just losing one state. If you look at South India, the BJP's prospects doesn't look particularly good. The Congress doesn't look particularly good either, except this victory in Karnataka, but it's basically now missing from all the other South Indian states where regional parties have taken over. And if you see the Congress party in Karnataka, it has won because it has fought like a regional party. Its regional leaders were very much in the trenches and they were the ones who were doing the fighting. So I think that has a larger impact in the run-up to the 2024 elections. Because I think the fact that there is no BJP government in South India does have a larger impact on popular perceptions across the country that maybe the Modi juggernaut is not that invincible. Since
Though we've
the Prime
always seen
Minister
the BJP
chose,
comes back
so,
even,
a lot of show, we are just sort of, we are looking at, I mean,
they don't rest. It's not like they'll sit and think about this too long. They'll be out there and campaigning the next.
But this has a significance. The fact that the BJP was conquering new territory, and the fact that it has stopped, and in South India, somehow it's on the retreat, I mean, I don't know.
I'll get quick remarks. Yes, Katya, just Nirja as well.
I want to make 2 points.
Yes.
One is a takeaway that the BJP's, Narendra Modi's effort to Hinduize the election in the last lap did not work or didn't have the kind of traction that they'd hoped for. Because Karnataka is very highly diverse place. There is
I think we also spoke about you can't use the Gujarat model here in Karnataka.
And
yes.
To expect that Hindu, the Lingayat versus the Hindu conflict. Lingayats think they have their own religion. So those, I think they miscalculated in having a homogeneous formula. Number two, what is going to be the implication of the minorities gravitating so solidly behind the Congress party? I think it may affect the efforts at national unity in the opposition. Will Mamata Banerjee be forced to rethink an alliance with the Congress party? Because, if the Muslims are going to get divided and go towards the Congress, then that's going to be problematic. With Arvind Kejriwal be forced to rethink.
Right.
So I
yes,
think
because we're all talking about the impact this will have on 2024. And although many of you analysts are saying it's not going to have such an impact, perhaps not for the BJP, but for the Congress. Kartikeya, yes, you wanted to come in here?
I was just saying Ajay Da's point about extrapolation to 2024. I would just sort of pause for now.
Sure.
Because it's a little tricky, because the surveys were suggesting a dichotomous sort of result, which is that yes, we'll vote for the Congress now, but a year from now, Karnataka might well vote for the BJP when Prime Minister Modi is on the ticket. Yeah. Now, that's not true for Kerala. But does it
mean a lot for the Congress going into 2024?
That'll be a very, it's like a T20 game and a test match. You just can't compare averages, So my point is that there are
to energize them.
Yes, that's correct. Energize resources. Organizationally, it gives the central leadership a little more headroom to, tackle things like Rajasthan, right?
Yes.
And then what is the positive spillover of Karnataka onto Telangana? Because by the way, Revant Reddy happens to be a close confidant of DK Shiv Kumar, right? So, all these things, there are wheels within wheels. But my point is that BJP is in the south active in 2 states, Karnataka and Telangana. Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala, nothing happening. So I will not be surprised that despite a poor showing now in Karnataka and in Telangana later this year, they still do sort of reasonably well in the national elections. I think the point that Ajay Da is making is that this whole claim of a pan-India party, yes, that can be deflated. To what extent are you accepted when it comes to local issues?
Right.
For sure. And that is not just South. That's also
the impact
East.
for 2024 will also be how the other opposition parties take the Congress.
Just very quickly, I just want to say about 2024 from today's result. a lot will depend on what is the margin, the winning margin of the Congress party, of the Congress MLAs. If the winning margin is huge, I find that it is it throws its shadow into the next election also, even to 2024 national elections.
Shankar Shetty, I'll just come to you. I have to go across to my colleague Pratibha. She's been waiting for a long time. She's at Mr. Kharge's residence, and Pratibha, now the focus really shifts to the meetings that are going to be taking place. We heard Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is going to be speaking to DK Shiv Kumar, and the other leadership will be speaking to Siddharamaiah. And now the focus, and Mr. Kharge also obviously playing the key role in what happens next. Who will be Chief Minister?
That's right. In fact, we see a lot of action right outside the residence of Mr. Kharge. A little while ago, Congress's working president, Mr. Salim Ahmed, was here, and now we get to know that Mr. Surjewala is also here at Mr. Kharge's residence. In fact, all the top leaders would be meeting, having a closed-door meeting with Kharge to find out what will be the next course of action of the Congress. And soon after all the MLAs arrive here in Bengaluru, there will be a legislature party meeting that will be held perhaps later tonight or even tomorrow morning, where a unanimous choice would be made with respect to the CM candidate, whether it would be DK Shiv Kumar or Siddharamaiah. Once the election is held with all the MLAs there, the High Command would then hand over the CM's throne to the respective candidate.
All right, Pratibha, thanks so much for joining us with that. So the focus now shifting to those meetings that the Congress will be holding and who will be the next Chief Minister. There you can see the leads that we have for you. 139 for the Congress. It's been a sweep for the Congress party, and a lot of analysis on the vote share and the regions that the Congress has done well in, the regions that the BJP has managed to hold on, or the new regions the BJP has found support in. So that has been another key factor that everybody's watching very closely. Will this now translate into some sort of formula for the Congress where your strong leadership on the ground and you work hard towards the elections? As we heard from the campaign manager of the Congress, he said for the last 2 years it wasn't a day of rest, and they've had quite an energetic campaign there on the ground. Rahul Gandhi came out and spoke at the Congress headquarters, and he thanked the people of Karnataka and the poor of Karnataka, because remember there were those 5 appeals that they made, 5 promises that they made to the people of Karnataka, and promises that they say they will, work on in the first meeting that the cabinet of Karnataka, the new government, that it will hold. And he thanked the poor of Karnataka. So that has been something that has been very interesting to watch. Shankar Shetty, yes, you wanted to make a point here.
I just want to answer him. Just one moment. Another way, this really humiliating defeat for the BJP, much like what happened in Bengal, could actually devastate the BJP at an organizational level in Karnataka. And given the fact that BJP's strongman Santosh doesn't get along at all with Yediyurappa, I have a feeling that it could hit, just like in Bengal, in the Lok Sabha polls, the BJP is not expecting very much. It could really drastically come down. And in Karnataka, where you very correctly say that they do well in national polls, this could happen when your organization at the grassroots level. It doesn't matter who's the Prime Minister. It's the same thing like in Kerala.
Right, and this is something the Congress needs to learn about, having the strong leaders and giving them that free hand. It took a while before they made DK Shiv Kumar also the head of the Congress in Karnataka.
For the Congress, we must remember that it is still a dying party. It is a party which has diminished so much in so many states that is almost impossible to resurrect. You can't really resurrect the Congress in many states.
But as a point that was made earlier is perhaps this will also give them some more room for maneuvering when it comes to agreements with other opposition parties.
But they have to act like a regional party.
Right, Sanjal Shastri, yes, come in.
I think I would still hesitate to read too much into what it'll have, this impact of this result next year. Partly because there is a broader sentiment amongst even the BJP supporters who would have voted Congress this time that we do not want the Bommai government, but next year when the national election comes up, our vote is going to be for Modi. And that sentiment is still there pretty strong. If you look back at 2013, it was a similar case where though that time the party was split, but then it had come down to 40 seats, and then when the Lok Sabha came in, they were able to shift. So I think it's a little too early to call what would happen in 2024 based on this. But the current results, I think, have two important implications for BJP. One is they would need to rethink their whole Karnataka strategy with Yediyurappa around a vote base built around the Lingayat community, and then sort of building on that. It took them to the crescendo in 2018, which brought them a few seats short of majority, but didn't get them a majority. So if they need to build on this, or in future to get into a past 113, they would need to rethink the strategy and probably go back to the drawing board.
And knowing the BJP, they would probably. I have to go across now. We're joined by.
Gargi, if what Ajoy is saying has to happen, the Congress will have to have a no prisoners taken approach in Karnataka then. Yeah, for next year.
All right, well, let's ask that to Bhavya Narasimha Murthy joining us, Congress spokesperson, and congratulations. It's been quite the sweep. 138 is what our leads are currently showing us, and now the focus now shifting to who will be the chief minister, and that is something I'm sure the Congress leadership would want to get resolved as soon as possible.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. And we have a process how we select our chief ministers. The MLAs, the elected MLAs, the 130 plus MLAs, they will vote, and the High Command and the MLAs together will decide who will lead this government. Because it's them who will be working directly under the chief minister. They have a higher weightage as to choose the chief minister. That's the process we are going to follow. Yes.
Right, and we've all been discussing what really worked for the Congress here, and how was it different, this election that you fought in Karnataka? What do you, and I know this analysis will probably continue for a while, and the Congress has only to learn from their experience in Karnataka, but what do you feel really worked for you for the campaign?
Our developmental agenda. BJP exposed itself. After the scams, even when Mr. Modi came here for roadshows, he never denied the scams. Instead, he tried to, give stories from the previous generation and say anything other than denying the 40% scam. There was one thing. And then here, Karnataka people are more interested in developmental issues and local issues. But the BJP wanted Karnataka people to vote for Mr. Modi. They literally asked for that. Like some of the rhetorics, like when Mr. Nadda came and said, Modi ji ki aashirwad honi chahiye Karnataka ki janta pe. In politics, it's the people who need to bless the politicians, not the other way around. Or even when he said, if BJP doesn't win, you won't get the central programs. All these things didn't work. Instead, our approach was through development, our guarantees. And I would like to give two examples of how scientifically we derived these guarantees. One of our guarantees is about free travel on public transport for women. In India today, the average salary of a person when it comes to men is 19,000, and for women it's 15,000. There is wage gap starting from a woman who is working in fields to the CEO. And we wanted to make sure that they have savings in their hand. Someone who earns 15,000 literally spends 10% of her earning.
Right. But, though Bhavya, in the past as well, the Congress in their manifestos have had many pro-poor sort of promises. But do you feel that this time, because of your strong leadership there, because Mr. D.K. Shivkumar really leading from the front, you managed to take this to the people, and that is what's worked in your favor?
Yes, definitely. We made sure every household got the guarantee card of all our 5 guarantees. And, they have this trust in Congress party that only we can give a stable government. Like in the past 4 years, there have been 3 chief ministers. But the 5 years before that, there was only 1 chief minister from Congress. And before that, for literally 10 years, there were 6 chief ministers. So Karnataka people were somewhere they wanted a stable government. And they knew only Congress party can give that. And we have proved in the past that only we can provide a stable, development-based administration by giving a successful 5-year administration with a lot of developmental programs. And for the past 4 years during BJP's tenure, there's not one development program to their credit. And it's only the corruption scams like 40% scam or PSI scam. Even when we insisted that these cases be handed over to CBI, they denied. And here there was not one leadership to show. And if we think of it, 2008, BJP won 110 seats. when Yadurappa sir was leading. And in 13, when he quit the party, it reduced to 40. In 18, again, when he joined, it was 104. Although people say there was Modi wave back then, in 18, it was Yadurappa sir who was leading. Now that he was sidelined, now you see BJP has gone back to 60s, even though Mr. Modi was the face of this election. So somewhere in Karnataka it has started. The Modi wave is waning, and this is going to spread. Like literally,
that might be a little bit ambitious, but it's interesting, you know, both the Congress and the BJP talking about Mr. Yediyurappa and the factor that he has been in this election.
He was the reason why BJP even exists in South India today. Like right now, it's BJP Mukta South India. Like something that they wanted to do, but we don't really want that.
I think the Congress is enjoying.
Strong opposition, of course.
All right, thank you so much.
They are reduced to 60 plus.
Right, thank you so much, Bhavya, for joining us. And Karthikeya, that's very interesting. The Yediyurappa factor, which both the BJP and Congress are talking about in connection with these results we're seeing today.
They both want the Lingayat votes to move towards them, right? So why shouldn't they? I mean, but she's right. It's not an exaggeration to say that. It was the Yediyurappa BJP that sort of won mandates for the BJP in the early 2000s, and then in 2018 also, whatever seats they got. So it's true that, you know, the turning point for Karnataka was 2021 from the BJP's perspective, when that transition happened. And that transition wasn't the smoothest. And when it did happen, you could see that something was not up, you know, and then after that, this whole idea of corruption and, you know, misgivings just kept on piling on. And because of the absence of an effective leader at the top who could have cut into that anti-incumbency, the BJP is where it is. But at this point, I think the Congress talking about the Yediyurappa factor is very relevant, because in future, if Yediyurappa ji is asked to distance himself from the BJP, who's the claimant for the Lingayat vote, right? The Congress would want to fancy itself as a claimant for that Lingayat vote, and so therefore probably that's one of the things. The same for the BJP, they would want to regain the lost Lingayat vote. So again, the same mention. So it's going to be interesting what strategy the BJP takes in Karnataka, what the Yediyurappa family takes in Karnataka. Will they float their own party? Do they stay relevant within the BJP? How does the Congress cash in on this vacuum, this void, which is now developed both, I would say, in the Lingayat community and with this result, even in the Vokaligga community?
Absolutely.
Because the Congress starts with the Ahinda vote base. Can it add Lingayat and Vokaligga plus? Because if it can, and I dare say, could this become the Gujarat for Congress? You know, where it's like it's a fiefdom of sorts, where
that's very interesting. I mean,
there is a vacuum. Yeah,
early days yet.
You're right, Gargi, because I think that the Congress may be on the cusp, unless the BJP takes drastic steps to change the scenario. But the fact of the matter is that the Congress does have, because of Sitaramaiah, the lower caste, the Dalit vote more than the BJP. It now has a very, very effective Vokaligga leader, and we are looking at two aged leaders. One is Devegowda. He is very old, and everybody realizes that he's over.
This was his last election.
And Yediyurappa is also aged. It is really, unlikely that he will have another resurrection at this age. In which case, the Congress could, as he very correctly says, be, in a very good position. And although Karnataka doesn't have many seats, this will have an impact on 2024, because after all, we all know that the BJP will be the largest party in 2024. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
All right.
But what the million-dollar question is, whether it will get a majority of its own.
Absolutely, and how this Karnataka election helps the Congress in terms of negotiations with other opposition parties. We'll have to slip into a short break, but we'll return with more analysis. Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, you're watching our special coverage as the Karnataka results have emerged. A clear victory, a sweep for the Congress party, leading in 137 seats there. And there you can see the results, 224. So the seats have been declared, 224, so 137 for the Congress party. They have gained 57 seats. So 57 seats they lost last time around, they have gained in. And for the BJP, well, this is the declared number right now, 108, with the Congress up 45, the BJP 44 and the JDS 15. The leads are 137 currently. So 170 seats declared so far. We've been talking about what next for the Congress in the sense who is going to be Chief Minister. What we have learned is that the Congress is going to be holding a meeting today itself. Earlier the news was that the meeting, the Congress of the CLP, was going to be tomorrow to decide on who will be Chief Minister. But now we have learned, NDTV Sunil Prabhu breaking that news, that it's going to be today itself. Today evening is when the Congress CLP will meet to decide on who will be the Chief Minister. Also interesting to bring in here is that Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, she has tweeted on these results saying, "My salutations to the people of Karnataka for their decisive mandate in favor of change. Brute authoritarian and majoritarian politics is vanquished when people want plurality and democracy." But this is the important point which we've been talking here in studio about what this means going forward in 2024. And while, of course, it's very difficult to extrapolate a state election to the national elections, what is interesting is this will be a big boost for the Congress, especially when it comes to reaching out to other opposition leaders like Mamata Banerjee. Let's just listen into what Rahul Gandhi said earlier. He was at the Congress headquarters where he gave that victory speech. He congratulated the people of Karnataka. He thanked them for their support. He also said this is a vote by the poor people of Karnataka, talking about the 5 guarantees that the Congress made to the people of the state. Let's just listen to what he said.
कांग्रेस पार्टी कर्नाटक में गरीबों के साथ खड़ी हुई, हम गरीबों के मुद्दों पर लड़े। और मुझे सबसे अच्छी बात यह लगी कि हमने नफरत से, गलत शब्दों से ये लड़ाई नहीं लड़ी। हमने मोहब्बत से, प्यार से, दिल खोल के ये लड़ाई लड़ी। और कर्नाटक की जनता ने हमें दिखाया कि ये देश मोहब्बत इस देश को अच्छी लगती है। कर्नाटक में नफरत की बाजार बंद हुई है, मोहब्बत की दुकानें खुली हैं। हमने चुनाव में कर्नाटक की जनता से, गरीब जनता से 5 वायदे किए थे। मैंने अपने भाषण में कहा, खारगे जी ने भाषण में कहा, सब नेताओं ने भाषण में कहा था कि हमारे 5 वायदे हैं, हम इन वायदों को पहले दिन पहली कैबिनेट मीटिंग में पूरा करेंगे।
Right, so Rahul Gandhi making that pledge that those 5 guarantees, they will resolve them as soon as possible. At the first cabinet meeting, they will take up those issues. And then remember, those were promises to the poor. Ajay, we've been talking about how this appealed to the poor in the state. And Rahul Gandhi talking about how this is a victory for love. All that is very simplistic. But when we were talking ahead of the results coming out, everybody was speaking about how Karnataka has always had this revolving door elections, and we've always had another party coming in. So why is this different from that? Why do you think that this is not that usual, one time the BJP, the other time the Congress? Why is this different?
Well, last time the Congress snatched a BJP win, well, not a particularly convincing win, but
sure,
they were the largest party,
108,
definitely. Yes. And the Congress did something which was very strange. It allowed a much smaller party to get the Chief Minister's post. Now, had this succeeded, and that when it happened, it was seen as a great coup. But unfortunately, for the Congress, the whole thing collapsed.
It was a weak government.
It was a
very
weak
stable
government. And
you had Kumaraswamy crying several times.
Yeah, didn't quite, make the real grade as Chief Minister. So I think the Congress seemed as if it had lost it forever in Karnataka. The fact that it was able to resurrect itself, I think is very creditable, because the Congress did not panic, and its regional leaders, instead of fighting each other or joining the BJP,
sure,
It did not.
Karthikeya going so far as to say that this could become like a Congress stronghold, the state of Karnataka.
And the BJP, on the other hand, had a supreme opportunity in really establishing a stranglehold over Karnataka. And that is why I think it is very, very important that a South Indian bastion for the Congress, for the BJP, would have been, I think, a huge jewel in Narendra Modi's crown.
Instead, now you have Congress leaders saying that South India mukt the BJP. But let's go across to Sunil Prabhu, who has that big breaking news. Sunil, the Congress is going to meet today itself to decide on who leads Karnataka?
That's right. They will have a CLP meeting that's likely to be held later this evening. As I speak, the Congress President, Mr. Karge, along with Mr. Randeep Surjewala, who settles between Taj of Karnataka, General Secretary of Mr. Venu Gopal, the finance, and though it's unlikely that the chief different path take an appropriate decision, but then certain ML before final and
all right, we will try and go back to Sunil there. The line not very clear, but the key point is that the Congress is going to hold a meeting today itself, today evening itself, to decide on who will be the chief minister. As we know, it is between Mr. D.K. Shiv Kumar as well as Chidambaram, and the Congress clearly not wanting this to fester too long, and this the sweetness of this victory in a sense to turn somewhat bitter. But yes, Karthikeya, you were making a point earlier
to your question that it alternates. I think we are now past the point where it's as simple as just simply alternating by default.
The revolving.
Look at Uttarakhand, look at Goa. Congress was supposed to win both
smaller
of the
states.
No, but it was Congress's turn, but they did not.
So, because again, they did not fight it as energetically as we've seen them fight here in Karnataka.
Today, the voter has become smart enough to say that even if I'm upset with the government, you as the opposition can't just think that you are the default option.
It's interesting in Uttarakhand as well, they kept changing the chief minister.
Exactly.
And it worked. I mean,
it
also
worked because the Congress's campaign
was very lackluster.
Exactly. And Harish Rawat, who's the biggest face in Uttarakhand politics, until the last moment was fighting the political battle in Punjab. He was the Punjab in charge of the Congress. So essentially, the Congress squandered these two states, which was theirs for the taking. So I think it's not anymore by default. So therefore, this victory is as much about anti-incumbency as it is about the Congress's ability to have cashed in on that anti-incumbency using a very credible state leadership, a very successful campaign, and with all sort of checking all the right boxes in order
all right, checking all the right boxes. Let's just take that to Mr. Pavan Khera, who now joins us. Congratulations, Mr. Khera. And, it's quite the defeat for the BJP and a sweep for the Congress in Karnataka. First up, we're talking about who will be Chief Minister, and that meeting will take place today itself.
Thank you so much, and let us first give us some time to at least enjoy the victory. Why do you ask difficult questions?
Because that will make it more challenging for the Congress itself. It'll be a problem for the Congress itself if you let this fester too long.
There is no problem at all, and let the legislative party meet, and then whatever they communicate to the leadership will be the decision.
All right, what is the impact and we've been talking about this in studio, about what this means for 2024. I know you're just enjoying the victory, but we have to analyze all these, the figures and what it means in the political realm. So what do you think this victory for the Congress means for 2024?
I think what this victory, like Himachal, signifies is the counter narrative brought about by the Bharat Jodo Yatra. What we were lacking was that even when we spoke the truth, I think we whispered our truth, and they lied loudly. That's what has changed both in Himachal and in Karnataka. Now we are heard.
And does the credit for that not go to, the fact that on the ground you had a Mr. D.K. Shiv Kumar, Chidambaram, all of them were working. We were speaking to one of the campaign managers, and he said we've not had a day of rest for the last 2 years. So that sort of energy, the fact that if you push that energy on the ground, Because you've been talking about poverty, about inflation, about price rise in other states as well, but it somehow has not translated into support the way it has today in Karnataka, and that means the message got across.
No, of course, the energy of our leadership in the state, the guidance of Mr. Kharge, who is a very seasoned man and also happens to be from that state, our young campaigners, our young leaders like Rahulji and Priyankaji, I think everything fell into place, and our narrative was something which had a lot of resonance across the entire state.
All right, and we're hearing that the meeting that the Congress, today itself, the Congress will be meeting there in Bengaluru to decide on the chief ministership, and they're going to leave it to the High Command?
You know our process, the CLP meets and they decide whatever decision, whatever resolution the CLP makes is what the party leadership then finally goes by.
All right, and so tell us, what is it the Congress feels really worked for them during your campaigns? Rahul Gandhi just spoke about how those 5 guarantees is something that the Congress will take up first and foremost as soon as the government is formed. And is that what you credit for this victory today?
Our faith in the country's resilience gets restored today. The country is very resilient towards the kind of hatred that was being forced upon by the leadership, by the Prime Minister, Home Minister, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. The kind of narrative they tried to bring to Karnataka was rejected very decisively. I mean, we were talking about the day-to-day issues, livelihood issues, lives of people, potholes in Bangalore, and they were talking about Bajrang Bali and reducing Bajrang Bali to the level of Bajrang Dal. I think this got decisively rejected by the people of Karnataka, and that restores the faith all of us have in this country's ability to reject hatred.
All right, coming back to the issue, this template that the Congress has found has worked for it in Karnataka, the learning from there, is this something we're going to see translate into other states going into elections, for example, in Rajasthan going forward?
Yeah, obviously, any election going state has its own regional flavor, has its own regional issues and compulsions and dynamics. So we'll respect the dynamics of the state, and accordingly we'll have a template. We can't have one size fit all in all states. I mean, different states respond to different narratives.
Right, and we were discussing, we were talking here about the, revolving door politics that we've seen in Karnataka, and that was something the BJP was trying to fight against to ensure that, they come back again in Karnataka. But what would you credit this victory for? The Congress's victory, because the BJP is trying to say that is a big issue, the fact that Karnataka always did change their government.
No, but so did Kerala, so did Uttarakhand, but things changed there. But they couldn't beat that trend here in Karnataka. There is a reason, because of the over-dependence on the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister made the entire campaign about himself. Last 15 days, it was just his face all across the state in Karnataka, whether it was advertisements in the newspapers, whether it was billboards. Everything, everywhere, wherever you look, it was the Prime Minister. So I hope he takes the responsibility of this defeat now.
And the credit for this victory?
People of Karnataka, every single worker of Karnataka.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll leave it there. Congratulations, Pawan Khera and the Congress. They're leading in 138 seats currently as those numbers are being counted. The BJP at 63. So a sweep for the Congress in Karnataka. We'll slip into a short break and return with more.
Is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome. If you are just joining and logging in to catch up on the news, the big story today. The Congress is set to return to power in Karnataka after a tightly contested assembly election. Well, the results still yet finally to come in, so perhaps in the end not so tightly contested after all. After hours of counting votes, the Congress's seat tally stands at 137 with the BJP at 64, the JDS at 20. The Chief Minister, Bommai, has conceded defeat with his party leading in only about 60 plus seats. This out of the 244-member assembly. The Chief Minister, Basavaraj Bommai, has conceded defeat, saying that despite the best efforts by the Prime Minister, by cadres, we were not up to the mark. Now, the Karnataka Assembly comprises of 224 seats with 113 seats needed to form a majority. The Congress currently leads in 135 seats, so that's well above the halfway mark of 113. Currently with about 64 seats. The BJP's number falls well short of its 218 performance when it won in 104 seats. But let's just listen in. We have Mr. K.C. Venugopal, we have Nadeep Surjewala speaking. Let's listen in.
We stood for poor people of Karnataka. They stood for rich people. Finally, poor people won this election. This is the clear narrative of this election.
What is the message to 2024 election?
No, this is one of the milestone of the 2024 election. Okay.
By when will that decision be made,
That Congress president is doing a PC.
At 6 o'clock there will be more clarity, sir.
Let's see.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the big question right now is who is going to be the Chief Minister after registering that thumping victory in the Karnataka elections. The Congress, we're told, are going to hold a key meeting at the party President Mallikarjuna's residence. Remember, the party is yet to announce its chief ministerial pick for the state. We have Sunil Prabhu. You saw him right there with all of those key Congress leaders, Sunil, who are all going to be present at that meeting. First and foremost, can you confirm that meeting is going to take place this evening? Because initially we were reporting it was expected to be tomorrow.
It was expected to be tomorrow, but that exercise, the official part will be there, but informally, the entire exercise of ascertaining who has the support of the MLAs, that will be decided today itself. So they have begun their exercise. People are already on the job, and we should expect the decision of who will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka, depending on who has the maximum number of support, and looking at various other factors, including how the Congress will be able to ensure that in the next general election, that is in the Lok Sabha elections, they will be able to deliver results there. That's a key factor in deciding the Chief Minister. There are two contenders, as you rightly pointed out. One is Mr. Chidambaram and the other is Mr. D.K. Shivkumar. It all boils down to the number of supporters that they have and how you can build a consensus. Mr. D.K. Shivkumar is not giving up and is quite keen on becoming the Chief Minister this time after he has fought, as he says, and brought the party after there was a full resignation of the Mr. Dinesh Gundu Rao and helping the Congress party through its trying time. So it's in that context that we have a clear contest between the two chief ministerial aspirants, that is Mr. Chidambaram as well as Mr. D.K. Shivkumar. And that meeting of MLAs will start today and then finally, hopefully, a decision tomorrow or not.
So, Sunil, as we all, do this post-mortem exercise about what exactly worked for the Congress, what failed for the BJP, the main takeaway, or one of the main takeaways behind the impressive performance by the Congress is credit to this unusually united front we saw from the party, the two stalwarts that you've pointed out, the Karnataka Congress's D.K. Sivakumar and Mr. Siddaramaiah have been known for long to be at loggerheads. But for this election at least, they put their differences aside and they worked together.
That's right. They worked together, tried to ensure that whenever there was the possibility of each other not working together, the AICC would intervene and ensure that, they had this united pace of going to temples, of having, chatting with the Congress workers, as well as, of course, doing various movies and, ad campaigns to show that they're both united. But that having been said, both have been very frank through NDTV and otherwise also that they are aspirants for the Chief Minister's post. Both have been in contest for that post. Both feel that they deserve it. And ultimately, it's a number of MLAs. This is, after all, a democracy. This is a democratic process, unlike how we see in various other parties where it is left. Finally, how that plays out. But in the Congress, every MLA is key in terms of deciding who he supports. And then, of course, the Congress High Command takes various permutations and combinations and speaks to all the leaders before arriving at a consensus candidate who will be, decided at the CLP meeting.
All right. Thanks, Anil. We'll let you get back to those crucial meetings taking place today and perhaps a big announcement tomorrow morning, if not this evening. But in the Congress's victory celebrations in Karnataka, perhaps the only downer right now is that looming Siddaramaiah versus DK Shivakumar tussle for the Chief Minister's job. Mr. Siddaramaiah, DK Shivakumar, they're the Congress's top leaders in Karnataka. One is a former chief minister, the other is a state Congress chief, and neither has been coy about their chief ministerial ambitions. Just this afternoon, as the results came in, Mr. Shivakumar broke down as he spoke about delivering on a promise to the Gandhis. He also said he had not slept for 3 years ever since he made that promise. So a message there certainly in that statement made to the press. But let's listen in to Mr. Shivakumar. He also just spoke just a short while ago. Let's listen in to his reactions to those results, big results for the Congress today.
Congress party ki aar marilke sadhya illa. Ee jaya nanna jaya alla. Ee jana ಈ ಜಯ ರಾಮನಗರ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಮತದಾರರ ಜಯ. ನನಗೆ people have exposed faith in us. The leaders have supported us. It is a collective leadership and we have jointly worked. I have said in the beginning, joining together is the beginning. On the day I took the oath, thinking together is the progress. Working together is the success. That is what I said on the day. I assured Srimati Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi that, and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, that I will deliver Karnataka to their fold. I can't forget Srimati Sonia Gandhi coming to meet me in jail when all these BJP people put me under jail. So I rather choose to be in jail than having an office. That is the confidence what Gandhi family and the Congress party in the entire country restored on me.
And the Congress's Rahul Gandhi congratulated the people of the state as his party looks all set to form the government, and he attributed this win to the victory of love. He said the market of hate has been shut and shops of love have opened, and he said this to cheering Congress workers earlier today.
कांग्रेस पार्टी कर्नाटक में गरीबों के साथ खड़ी हुई. हम गरीबों के मुद्दों पर लड़े और मुझे सबसे अच्छी बात यह लगी
ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರ ವಿಜಯ. ನನಗೆ ಸಹಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು, ಪಕ್ಷ ಭೇದ ಮರೆತು ನಾಯಕರುಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಮಿತ್ರರು, ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಮಿತ್ರರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ವಂದಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಮತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಕೆಲವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಬರೀ ಕನಕಪುರ ಗೆದ್ರೆ ಲೀಡರ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ನನಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು, ಯಾರು ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೀಮೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಹಳೆ ಮೈಸೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನ ಇದ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಕೀಳುವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನತೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಟರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ನೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
All right, so that was Mr. D.K. Sivakumar, who's been the Congress's troubleshooter for years and basically attributing this victory and to the cadres of the party who have worked for months and months on this big victory. So let's first of all go across to our guests in our studio right now. PKD Nambiar joins us, political analyst who supports the BJP. Matthew Anthony, spokesperson of the Congress, also a lawyer. Mr. Deshrata Nigam here, advocate with the Supreme Court of India. Kartikeya Batra, political researcher. Thanks for your time. Also in the Delhi studio, Ajay Bose, author and columnist, and Sanjal Shastri, independent researcher. Sanjal, first, I know you speak Kannada. If I can quickly just ask you to give us a summary of what Mr. Sivakumar was saying over there. He's been the Congress's troubleshooter in this election, and he's been giving a lot of reactions to the press. What was he just saying?
Basically, he was dedicating the victory to the Karyakartas, the party workers, and also to the broadly to the people of Karnataka. That was what, from the brief clipping that I could hear, that was the gist of his speech that he was at, the rally that he was addressing.
All right, dedicating this victory to the Karyakartas, but of course that's what we're here to do, to dissect and figure out what they got right, what they got wrong, and whether this can be repeated for the Congress, whether it can be repeated in the general elections, and whether the ground is the same, or if the experiment is the same. How are things different in assembly elections versus general elections? But Matthew Anthony first, spokesperson of the Congress. Congratulations. A big afternoon for you. Take us through, obviously, how you're feeling overjoyed, but is there a worry that all of this could be marred by the Congress not being able to easily come up with a chief minister so they can truly enjoy this victory?
Thank you, Sarah, for the congratulations. The party definitely deserves it, because it was an epic, united work which the workers, the state leadership and the central leadership unitedly put together in the state of Karnataka. And the people of Karnataka wholeheartedly supported this as a vote against the Prime Minister, a vote against hate towards love, a vote against the unpopular decisions, the 40% Sarkara, and all other issues of the Karnataka government, where we committed as a party, we touched the emotional chord between the people's problems in the state rather than canvassing on the national issues. We touched the people's issues in the state, and that really worked for us. And the way in which the people have voted for us definitely shows more than 43% vote share is a historical achievement, which we had before in 1989. And after that, this is a significant achievement which we have seen in the state of Karnataka. And we reassure you that we stay humble, we stay hungry, and we are very clear in our efforts that this is a warm-up for 2024. We will work even more hard to make 2024 a success for the people of India to kind of, have this regimen changed.
But Matthew,
yes.
But Matthew, can I just ask you, isn't it, historically, the state has known to vote in governments alternatively, right? There's an anti-incumbency factor. So how much of this is truly the Congress's victory, or is it just that's the way the state votes?
See, Zara, you have been merciless to us, when we lose states. So when we win, you can be a little bit more considerate in that aspect of it. It's not only anti-incumbency definitely played. At the same time, they found hope in the Congress party to have voted this unanimously. Else, this would have been a very close contest. If, going by the way in which you are saying, if it was only anti-incumbency, this would have been a very close fight. This is not anti-incumbency alone. This is anti-incumbency along with the people's definite mandate for a united front for a change against hatred, against polarization, against a lot of knee promotion by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister solely campaigned for a week. This is a reflection to the Prime Minister's campaign. People of Karnataka has rejected the Prime Minister. That's where it is.
Matthew Anthony, I do not need to soft pedal with you at all. You know all the answers and you're saying it perfectly. So I don't need to do anything for you. Let me go across to Deshratan Nigam. Mr. Nigam, Matthew Anthony points out there that yes, of course, this is a state that tends to vote alternate governments in, and you know there's this huge anti-incumbency factor that's at play. But he says if that was truly at play here, it would have been a narrow victory. The Congress has clearly swept. The BJP has gotten less seats so far than it did the last time round.
Yes.
But at least by half, if I'm not wrong.
Sarah, in fact, first of all, congratulations to Congress for the thumping victory. I mean, there is no two ways about looking at it. Now, secondly, if it had been anti-incumbency, the vote share of the BJP should have gone down. It is 36%, almost, I think 36.2 was the last time they had. It is 36% right now. So there is no anti-incumbency and BJP has been able to retain that vote share. And one of the most important factor which I believe the Congress, everybody seems to be overlooking, is Mr. Sunil Konaglu, who was BJP person till last year and then joined the Congress and became the chief election strategist for the Congress. And that is where probably he knew many things of BJP, which probably he took over to the strategies that he took over to the other side. And certainly, you know, there are JDS seems to have, you know, almost given up, and almost the entire vote share of the JDS which they have lost has gone to the Congress. And the minorities, you know, the minorities used to vote for JDS seems to have gravitated towards the Congress. So these are the things I think which has given, and certainly the perception battle which was there about corruption, despite the fact not a single complaint by anybody has been filed against any appropriate authority by any congressman, but that perception was built out there, and that perception probably also, but that is not cut into BJP's votes. That is one thing, you know, BJP's vote is intact, and that is where BJP with the same kind of, you know, vote share, they had a higher results in the Karnataka, in the Lok Sabha elections also. And we have seen Rajasthan also and Madhya Pradesh and even, you know, other places also where the states went a different way, but in the Lok Sabha, the BJP swept those states. So this may not relate to the, you know, Lok Sabha elections. Everybody is saying this is a build up to Lok Sabha, but Lok Sabha elections, I believe, are on a different parameter. Yes, Prime Minister during the last leg, you know, put everything in it, and maybe because of that, the BJP's vote share is intact.
So the Lok Sabha elections are a whole different ball game, but Ms. Nigam basically saying that the Congress's victory has come at the cost of the JDS and not at the BJP, right? So Sanjal Shastri, do you agree?
That's him.
Sanjal, sorry, I knew I would do this. Sanjal, sorry, do you agree?
I would beg to differ on that, because the trends do show that in Bombay, Karnataka or Hyderabad, Karnataka, the Congress has significantly eaten into the BJP's you know, seat tally. If you do a simple comparative analysis of 2018 and 2023, there is a clear it's clearly visible that a lot of seats have shifted from what was BJP last time to now Congress. So Congress's victory has not only come at the expense of the JDS, but also expense of the JDS and the BJP.
Okay, Kartikeya.
Yeah.
Kartikeya,
I'll bring the numbers down for you. What Deshratan Nigam sir is saying, he made 4 points. Unfortunately, I agree with just one, which is that this is a very different election from next year. That's absolutely right. I agree with him. 2-3 other points that he made. One is that the BJP is holding on to its vote share. The top line number will suggest that yes. But the BJP has lost as much as on average 5 percentage point vote share in seats that it won last time. So what has happened is the BJP has lost seats in its strong areas, but it has picked up votes in its strong areas, but it has picked up votes in areas like Old Mysore, which is JDS country, where it picks up votes but not enough to convert into seats.
So it's a narrow contest in all of these seats. It's a close call.
What I'm saying is the JDS essentially lost, but JDS's loss was picked up by both the Congress and the BJP. Now, that BJP's gain was offset by what the BJP lost to the Congress. The difference was the areas in which the BJP lost to the Congress in vote share were the areas where it used to convert those votes into seats. But the areas in which it has picked up votes from the JDS, it has not been able to convert that into seats because the starting base is very low. So although this 36% looks as a copy of 2018, actually it's not. It's a lot more within the 36%, which is that you lost some to Congress, but you made it up from the JDS. Now, the JDS's loss has been both the Congress's and the BJP's gain. So in effect, Congress has gained from both parties. JDS has lost to both parties. BJP has gained from one, lost to one. So therefore, the BJP looks net zero, no change. JDS is the biggest sufferer and the Congress is the biggest gainer. Look at that difference, Sarah, 43% to 35. That's an 8 percentage point gap. That's the sort of gap we are used to in North India between the BJP and the Congress when Mr. Modi is on the ticket. It's a huge gap. The other point that was made was Mr. Konoglu. If that logic were to apply, then Mr. Prashant Kishore also worked with the Congress in UP, but that didn't work out. So it's not just the strategist, right? It has to be something about the organization, the local leadership, the party, the narrative. I think after a long time, it seemed that the Congress also had the resources to run a good campaign. It had a credible local leadership after Himachal, I would say. And then I think they did not dabble in too many nonsensical issues and they were very focused. The last 1 week probably was an aberration. So I do think that these numbers on the top line look sort of simple, but there's a lot more within the area. So just as an example as to what my colleague was saying, in areas like Kittur, Karnataka and Central Karnataka, which are BJP citadels, Lingayat belts, the Congress has flipped those regions. Congress has gained Congress is leading in 4 out of the 6 regions in Karnataka. In Hyderabad, Karnataka, it's a virtual sweep where 50% population is SC, ST plus Muslim. Congress has gained amongst the disadvantaged groups. Its welfareism seems to have worked, plus the credibility of the local leadership. So the promises were made. Those promises have also been made in other states. But why they work this time is because they have a credible local leadership that they can associate with. So I think it's a good day for the Congress. Lots to learn from it. I just hope they don't lose their humility after this victory, because it's a huge victory. It's a huge mandate in favor of the Congress.
Huge mandate in favor of
the... Sarah, because if I could add mine a little bit, in the sense that it's a very comprehensive victory, and you can't be simplistic about statistics, because as he very correctly pointed out, that the BJP vote share, which looks the same, is not the same really, because different voters have contributed to make it the same. Also, there are many factors which have played into the BJP's defeat. One, of course, is Mr. Yediyurappa's departure from active politics. He is no longer. The fact remains that Mr. Yediyurappa made a big difference to the BJP in Karnataka. He was they have not been able to replace him with anybody of even, even middle stature. Whereas the Congress has some very credible local leaders. And the third thing is that the JDS, clearly, Deve Gowda is now gone and his sons have not been able to make much of it. So the JDS is, and both the BJP and the Congress have gained, but the Congress in the future, in the run-up now, for the next several elections, the Congress is better placed to get that Vocaliga vote.
If they hold on to the humility. But let's see, how will all of this play out for the next few elections, especially the 2024 elections? Let's just quickly, we have to go in for a short break. We'll go in for that and come back with more. Comprises of 224 seats with 113 seats needed to form a majority, and the Congress is leading in 135. That's way above the halfway mark of 113. The BJP has already conceded defeat with 64 seats. The BJP's number falls well short of its 2018 performance when it won 104 seats. And with this loss, the BJP really is losing control of its lone southern state, the only southern state that was under its rule. But the attention right now is at the Congress headquarters, where after registering a thumping victory in the Karnataka elections, the Congress are to hold a key meeting at the party president Mallikarjuna Kharge's residence, because the party now has the task of announcing a chief minister, their chief ministerial pick for the state, and they were expected to announce this at that CLP meeting in Bangalore, perhaps tomorrow. There's a meeting, the wheels are already in motion, and Mallikarjuna Kharge, of course, to be there, Randeep Singh Surjewala, Kesu Venugopal, they're among the leaders who are going to be present at the CLP meet. The day started off with the Congress declaring in a tweet that it has won in Karnataka, and the party then issued instructions to the winning Congress candidates to come to Bangalore immediately. Initial reports were that the party would announce its chief ministerial face at this meeting in Bengaluru around noon tomorrow. But the wheels really seem to be moving faster. The meeting seems to have been pushed forward. It's going to take place this evening. Both Mr. Siddaramaiah, Mr. Shivakumar are the powerful leaders with a strong support base, and perhaps that was the reason why the Congress did not name a presumptive chief minister, but you can only put it off for so long, and that time has now come for the Congress to make that big announcement. So the big impressive performance that we've seen by the Congress, that this time round, one of the reasons for it is the fact that they put up an unusually united front for the party. The two stalwarts of the Karnataka Congress, DK Sivakumar, Mr. Siddaramaiah, they've for long been known to be at loggerheads. But unlike what we've seen in Rajasthan, in Karnataka, the Congress was able to have their main leaders keep their issues at bay and come together and coordinate a well-crafted joint appearances, and showed they've really put up a clear united front. But now the question is, who will be chief minister? But let's listen in to Mr. Shivakumar speaking with NDTV's Sunil Prabhu earlier in the day. Perhaps there are some hints in that interview.
How do you view this victory, Mr. Shivakumar? What's your reaction to this?
See, it is not my victory alone. It is the victory of the people of Karnataka. People wanted a change. People wanted development. People wanted to remove corruption. They know that the double engine did not work out well. So we need a government with a governance. Every common man in the village was been pickpocketed by the price rise. So that is why we all work together. I should thank my leader, Srimati Sonia Gandhi, who appointed me at the crisis when Mr. Dinesh Gundrao and Siddaramaiah resigned on moral grounds. So they imposed confidence on me. From that day till today, I have not slept. Whatever may be my problem, internal problem, whatever the problem created, we all worked together. All my leaders cooperated, and you include my national leaders. Whatever I said, they agreed to me. Ultimately, we should make this number.
Sir, you led the party from the front. 18 months. You are taking claim to be the chief minister of the state.
No, see, not 18 months, yeah. 3 years. 3 years I have not slept. I did not make my workers also sleep. There are a lot of things I will come and tell you.
But
now
the numbers are...
I am going to Ramnagara.
But would you like to be rewarded, sir? That is the question.
See, I am going to Ramnagara. I am going to Ramnagara because my leaders, workers are not allowing to give certificate to my election agent. I didn't want it to go there. But you know what has happened in the entire Vakliga belt? They have rooted out the JDS and the entire Karnataka. Not only Vakliga belt, entire Karnataka. So I don't want to comment much on things. We will discuss it later.
Sir, you think the Vakliga is back because of you? The community is back because Congress says Vakliga.
I will come back to you. We will discuss.
Do you want to be rewarded? That's my question, sir. That's my question.
I will discuss. Don't worry. Don't worry. I assured that I will deliver, and you just...
No, that's true, but Siddaramaiah's son is saying he wants his father to be CM. So how do you respond to that? So that's my question.
Let anyone tell anything. I don't want to comment on any one personal choice. The Congress party high command will take a decision.
All right, the Congress Party High Command will take a decision. But as of now, the run-up to this election was widely being seen as a litmus test for both the parties ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha poll. So let's bring in PKD Nambiar. You've been waiting for a while. So let me start by asking you, PKD Nambiar, is this a reflection, or how does this play out in 2024? Is it unlikely to be reflected in 2024?
Well, congratulations to Congress. I think you should be openly and without any conditions, you should be congratulating them. I think you have been you have not congratulated well enough to Matthew. I think today they deserve it. Now coming to the real 2024 is a different ball game altogether, because the reason being that we have seen in the past that all assembly elections are fought in a different method, and in the national elections are being fought in different way. Narendra Modi still continue to be the most popular leader in the country, and there is no one to match his persona when it comes to 2024. There is no doubt about it. But I think it's a defining moment for Congress, and also for a defining moment for BJP, from the point of view of losing Karnataka is not in the interest of the BJP. So there are 3-4 takeaways from my point of view. One, the Congress, the corruption charges, they have been able to maintain that for a year continuously. That worked very well for the Congress, and there may be, as Deshratha was talking about, that there may have been truth or not, but there was a perception which they have been able to create that the government of Bombay government was a corrupt government. Number two is that the Rahul Gandhi and the Gandhi family has campaigned this election so low. So that also gives a feeling that whether it is in Uttarakhand or in what do you call Himachal and etc. Wherever Rahul Gandhi is campaigning less, that means it's going in favor of the Congress. The third one is that the minority appeasement plank, which they have been able to use it very well, because we know that in the coastal Karnataka or in the Mysuru Karnataka and etc. there is a consolidation of Muslim vote against the BJP, and maybe from taking away from the JDS also. It's going as a block to the Congress. That also has helped the Congress to come in such a big victory. I think the bottom line in this election is that yes, Karnataka finally got a very stable government, which is in the interest of Karnataka, rather than just always we know that in Karnataka there is always a horse trading or the people moving here and there. I think this time this will be contained. I think congratulations to Congress, but a long thing to for the BJP to be very careful. Unless and until you have very strong regional leaders, you cannot just ride only on the popularity of Sri Narendra Modi. Of course, he can be a very big complementing factor, but along with that, you also need like a Yogi or a Shivraj Singh Chauhan or some of those very tall regional leaders. In Karnataka, after I would say that Yediyurappa ji's time, I mean, they have not been able to create a national, strong leader of like a Siddaramaiah, or they have not been able to create within the BJP. That has also been a setback for the BJP. But having said that, BJP has been able to retain its vote share. That means that as a cadre, as a party, it is as strong as it is. And maybe the 2024 will be the same as what it was in 2019. The election needs to be now. This election is also going to be a defining moment from the point of view of development should be the focus for the times to come, and this will also have an impact. And I have no comments accepting the fact that in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh and also in Chhattisgarh, if not in 2024, they will have some kind of an impact, because it's a renewed Congress, and it will also have much more money to come in, because Karnataka is a very progressive and a large state, and DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah will be able to fund the Congress now, because now they have 2-3 states rather than just depending upon Ashok Gehlot and Chhattisgarh. Now they have 2 more states to fund the election, because without money you cannot survive a political party. And I think Congress is It's a new oxygen.
Zara, I would like to speak.
All right. Matthew Anthony, yes, please do come in over here. A bit premature to connect this to 2024. The Congress's success here has been because of their focus on local issues, because they avoided getting entangled in this whole Hindutva rhetoric, and they had local leaders. But Matthew Anthony, those advantages get nullified when it's a general election, and the BJP certainly is going to try and play this like it's a presidential election.
Zara, I will counter Nambiar for a few things, which he has mentioned, and then I'll come to your point. One is he said, that former Congress President Rahul Gandhi didn't campaign in Karnataka. I disagree with, and General Secretary Srimati Priyanka Gandhi, as well as former Congress President Srimati Sonia Gandhi didn't campaign much in Karnataka. I refuse that statement. And for records, 21 constituencies through which Bharat Jodo Yatra travelled, and all 21 constituencies BJP are not even there in the list. So it proves by itself. I don't have to say much on it right now. The second is, that how dare someone can speak about minority appeasement? Are minorities non-Indians? Are minorities foreigners? We are very well Indians, as along with others, who has been given and provided by the Constitution to be sensed, considered and treated as equals when the majority community is very high and the sense of secularity and equality should be practiced. The lower numbers should be given some priority. So how can you even speak about minority appeasement? This has become a practice of BJP and BJP followers to insult minorities by saying minority appeasement. We are no less to anyone for that matter. Let us be very clear on that fact. Let us not be very foolish to ourselves and kind of falling into that one. Hindu religion has never rejected any other religions. The Hindutva which we are fighting against is the fascist Hindutva which is practiced by BJP and its followers. So let us be clear on that fact. Now coming to your 2024 thing, you can't run a 48 kilometers marathon, by starting by 2 days back. We have started our 2024 count by putting up a united front in Karnataka, not disagreeing to the fact that there are differing opinions, there are differing leaders, there are different groups, but we put a united front as a party for the people of Karnataka, fought with the concerns of the people of Karnataka, fought for them by putting their issues first, and our competition is ourselves to keep us united, keep us humble, keep us hungry to win the elections one after the other, Rajasthan, say for that matter, Madhya Pradesh, and then the central elections. That is how we are looking at it. We are not going to sit on the laurels of this election. We are going to reflect on areas where we didn't perform, where we will honor the promises which we made to the people of Karnataka. At the same time, we keep ourselves humble. We keep ourselves, very hungry, very aggressive to serve the people of India, to come back for a change in the central government, because, we understand and we sense the people's mind to have a change in the government because of the oppressive. You said presidential, I said dictatorial. So that's how, we are seeing the whole matter.
All right. So the Congress to detractors who say you can't connect this to 2024, they're hailing this, the Bharat Jodo Yatra's role in their success in these polls. We're going to go in for a short break. We'll come back to all of you, all of our panelists here on the other side.
कर्नाटक में नफरत की बाजार बंद हुई है, मोहब्बत की दुकानें खुली हैं।
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Gargi Rawat, and the winner in Karnataka is the Congress party. The Congress all set to return to power in the state, while the BJP has lost its only bastion in the south. It's a citadel, as we called it, the BJP citadel in the south. The Congress already talking about South India Mukt BJP. But we'll get you all the reactions, all the big statements that have been made. The question now is, who will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka? Will it be Mr. DK Shiv Kumar, the feisty leader who was really seen leading this campaign that the Congress had in Karnataka? Or will it be the former Chief Minister of Karnataka, Mr. Chidambaram? That question will be answered perhaps by tomorrow. Today we do know there's going to be a key meeting of the Congress party to decide on this issue. And we've also learned from our sources that the decision will be to leave it to the Congress High Command. So perhaps in the next day or two, we will find out who is going to be the next Chief Minister of Karnataka. Mr. DK Shiv Kumar won his seat by 1,20,000 votes, and that is a record there. So he's won his seat by 1,20,000. He did say this time that he would be winning by a record margin, and he has delivered there as well in a very tearful response after it was quite certain that the Congress was going to win. He broke down. He even said that Sonia Gandhi had visited him in jail. Remember, he had been put in jail under various charges, and he said at that time I had promised to deliver Karnataka to her. So that is the big question now. Who will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka? Also, what does this mean now going forward to the political landscape of the country? What does this mean for 2024? Does it mean anything for 2024? All these are, questions that we're going to ask. And to talk more about this, we're joined in a studio. We have with us Deshratan Nigam, political analyst, someone who supports the BJP, Kartikeya Batra, political researcher, Ajoy both here with us, author and columnist, and Sanjal Shastri, an independent researcher. Now, Ajoy, before we began, you were talking about this question of 2024, and that is what everyone is talking about. What would it mean going forward? In my view, while it may not mean so much for the BJP, I'm sorry, I'll have to wait to hear from you on that. We'll have to go across to where UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is speaking.
प्रदेश के पूर्व अध्यक्ष और प्रदेश के सरकार के जल शक्ति मंत्री श्री स्वतंत्र देव सिंह जी, प्रदेश संगठन के शिल्पी, संगठन महामंत्री सम्मान्य श्री धर्मपाल जी, मंत्रिमंडल के मेरे अन्य सहयोगी और संगठन के हमारे सभी पदाधिकारियों के साथ ही सहयोगी दल श्री निषाद पार्टी के श्री डॉक्टर संजय निषाद जी और अपना दल एसके श्री आशीष पटेल जी समेत पार्टी के सभी पदाधिकारी और कार्यकर्ताओं की ओर से मैं आपका हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं। मित्रों, उत्तर प्रदेश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं की मेहनत, सरकार और संगठन के बेहतर समन्वय, आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के सुयोग्य और यशस्वी नेतृत्व और उनके मार्गदर्शन में उत्तर प्रदेश नगर निकाय के चुनाव में भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अब तक की सबसे बड़ी विजय प्राप्त की है। 17 नगर निगमों में पहली बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी सभी नगर निगमों में एक साथ पूर्ण बहुमत के साथ विजय प्राप्त करने में सफल हुई है। इसके साथ ही जो 17 नगर निगम हैं, इनमें से 3 नगर निगम नए गठित हुए थे, जिनमें अयोध्या, मथुरा वृंदावन और शाहजहांपुर। मथुरा वृंदावन और अयोध्या में विगत वर्ष चुनाव संपन्न हुए थे और शाहजहांपुर में पहली बार चुनाव हुआ है। 17 के 17 नगर निगमों में, जिनमें से हर एक नगर निगम 5 लाख से लेकर के 50 लाख मतदाताओं या आबादी के बीच का होता है, और इतनी बड़ी आबादी की जनता को प्रदेश के अंदर बुनियादी सुविधाएं उपलब्ध कराने, उनके समग्र विकास और उन्हें स्मार्ट सिटी के रूप में विकसित करने के आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के विजन को डबल इंजन सरकार ने जिस प्रभावी तरीके से आगे बढ़ाया है, आज ये जनादेश सबके सामने है। प्रदेश के अंदर 200 नगर पालिकाएं, जिनमें से 199 में चुनाव संपन्न हुए हैं। 2017 में भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने 60 नगर पालिकाओं में विजय प्राप्त की थी। इस वर्ष भारतीय जनता पार्टी का ये आंकड़ा विगत वर्ष से यानी 2017 से दोगुने से अधिक सीटें भारतीय जनता पार्टी नगर पालिकाओं में भी प्राप्त कर रही है। नगर पंचायतें पिछले 5 वर्ष के दौरान प्रदेश में नई नगर पंचायतों का गठन भी हुआ है, जो बड़ी ग्राम पंचायतें थीं और 20,000 की आबादी से अधिक की आबादी के जो ग्राम पंचायतें थी, उन्हें नगर पंचायत के रूप में विकसित करके नगरीय सुविधाओं से आच्छादित करने का जो अभियान था, उसी क्रम में लगभग 112 से अधिक नए नगर निकाय गठित हुए थे। कुल मिलाकर के 545 नगर निकायों में यानी नगर पंचायतों में भी चुनाव संपन्न हुए थे, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस बार नगर पंचायतों में भी अभूतपूर्व सफलता प्राप्त की है। 2017 से 2.5 गुना से अधिक सीटें भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने इस चुनाव में इसमें भी सफलता प्राप्त की है। इसके अलावा नगर निगम में 1420 वार्ड हैं, जिनमें पार्षदों का चयन होना था, चुनाव होना था। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने इससे पहले 17 में 596 पे विजय प्राप्त की थी, और अब तक जो कुल परिणाम आए हैं 794 में से 438 भारतीय जनता पार्टी पहले ही जीत चुकी है। पार्षदों में भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी ये मान करके चलें कि पिछली बार की तुलना में दुगने पार्षद भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नगर निगमों में जीत रहे हैं। ऐसे 1367 नगर पालिका परिषद के पार्षद हैं। विगत वर्ष 17 में 923 पार्षद भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जीते थे। इस बार अभी तक 1300 यानी 5327 में से 1367 के परिणाम सामने आ चुके हैं, जिनमें से 638 भारतीय जनता पार्टी अभी जीत चुकी है, और ये संख्या काफी ज्यादा आगे बढ़ने जा रही है। यानी पहले की तुलना में भारतीय जनता पार्टी लगभग दुगने से अधिक पार्षद इसमें भी जीतने जा रही है। ऐसे ही नगर पंचायतों में भी 7177 पार्षद चयन होने थे। विगत चुनाव में भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 664 कुल पार्षद प्राप्त हुए थे। अब तक 2457 में से जो परिणाम आए हैं, उनमें से 933 भारतीय जनता पार्टी पहले ही जीत चुकी है, और अभी काफी बड़ी संख्या में परिणाम आने जा रहे हैं। ये मान के चले लगभग 4720 के परिणाम आने बाकी हैं। इसमें बहुतायत भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में ये परिणाम जा रहे हैं। ये सभी रुझान इस बात को प्रदर्शित करते हैं कि 4 करोड़ 32 लाख मतदाताओं ने यानी 6 करोड़ से अधिक आबादी नगर निकाय में उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर निवास करती है, जिसमें 17 नगर निगम, 200 नगर पालिकाएं, 545 नगर पंचायतें हैं। इन सभी को अगर हम जोड़ करके देखेंगे तो यह 762 नगर निकाय कुल आते हैं 762 नगर निकाय में, एक का पहले चुनाव हो चुका था। झांसी में एक नगर पंचायत और एक नगर पालिका और गौतम बुद्ध नगर में एक नगर पंचायत सर्वसम्मति से भारतीय जनता पार्टी का बोर्ड पहले ही वहां गठित हो गया। ये चीजें दिखाती हैं कि डबल इंजन सरकार ने प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के मार्गदर्शन में, उनके नेतृत्व में सुशासन, विकास और सुरक्षा का जो एक बेहतर वातावरण उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर बनाया है, उसको यह जनादेश प्राप्त हुआ है। और शासन की चीजों को, डबल इंजन सरकार के कार्यक्रमों को जमीनी धरातल तक पहुंचाने के लिए हमारे नगर विकास मंत्रालय विभाग ने, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने जिस तत्परता के साथ कार्य किया है, चुनाव में बेहतर समन्वय हम सबकी बेहतर ताकत थी, सबसे मजबूत ताकत थी, उसका ये परिणाम हमारे सामने है। विगत वर्ष जब 2017 में चुनाव हुए थे, उस समय 16 नगर निगमों में चुनाव हुए थे और 16 नगर निगमों के चुनाव जो संपन्न हुए थे, उनमें से 14 भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जीती थी, 2 बहुजन समाजवादी पार्टी ने जीती थी। पहली बार 17 की 17 नगर निगम भारतीय जनता पार्टी जीत करके एक ऐतिहासिक जनादेश को प्राप्त की है। इसके साथ ही उत्तर प्रदेश में 2 विधानसभा के उपचुनाव भी संपन्न हुए हैं। एक 96 जो विधानसभा थी, वह हमारे सहयोगी दल अपना दल एस के विधायक से राहुल प्रकाश के दिवंगत होने के कारण खाली हुई थी। इस सीट को भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी गठबंधन अपना दल एस ने यहां पर समाजवादी पार्टी को परास्त करके सीट जीती है। और दूसरी सीट स्वार रामपुर जनपद की है, जो समाजवादी पार्टी के सदस्य की अयोग्यता के कारण यह सीट खाली हुई थी, उनकी सदस्यता समाप्त होने के कारण सीट खाली हुई थी। इसे भी हमारे सहयोगी दल, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सहयोगी दल, गठबंधन के सहयोगी दल अपना दल एस के प्रत्याशी ने भारी बहुमत से यह सीट भी जीत करके दोनों उपचुनाव में भी वहां पर झंडा गाड़ने का काम किया है। मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के दोनों विधानसभा उपचुनाव के मतदाताओं के प्रति 17 नगर निगम, 199 नगर पालिका और 559 जो हमारे नगर पंचायतें, 544 नगर पंचायतें हैं, इनके सभी मतदाताओं के प्रति मैं हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। पूरा चुनाव शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से संपन्न हुआ है। आप आश्चर्य करेंगे, 4 करोड़ 32 लाख से अधिक मतदाता इस नगर निकाय चुनाव में भागीदार बने थे। 6 करोड़ से अधिक की आबादी नगर निकायों में उत्तर प्रदेश में निवास करती है और शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से सभी चुनाव संपन्न हुए हैं। राज्य निर्वाचन आयोग को, भारत निर्वाचन आयोग को इन चुनावों को सकुशल संपन्न कराने के लिए हृदय से धन्यवाद देते हुए मैं अपनी पूरी मशीनरी को भी, प्रशासन, पुलिस और सभी राजनीतिक दलों को भी, जिन्होंने आचार संहिता के पालन को मान करके पूरे संयम के साथ चुनाव की व्यवस्था को लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों में विश्वास करते हुए संपन्न करने में योगदान दिया है और नगर निकाय के चुनाव उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर संपन्न हो रहे हैं। मैं इस अवसर पर इन सबको भी हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं। एक बार फिर से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं के परिश्रम, मंत्रिमंडल के मेरे सभी सहयोगियों के द्वारा किए गए प्रयास, संगठन के द्वारा बनाई गई व्यूहरचना का परिणाम है कि प्रदेश के मतदाताओं ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को यह जनादेश दिया है। मैं इस जनादेश के लिए उत्तर प्रदेश के नगर निकाय में निवास करने वाले सभी मतदाताओं का, दोनों उपचुनावों के सभी मतदाताओं के प्रति भी हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार विकास, सुरक्षा और सुशासन के लिए जो उनकी मंशा है उसके अनुरूप परिणाम देने के लिए पूरी तत्परता के साथ कार्य करेगी।
Right, Yogi Adityanath there talking about the BJP's performance in the municipal election. But let's now go across to where Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is speaking on the Karnataka results.
कर्नाटका की जनता को बहुत बहुत दिल से बधाई देना चाहती हूँ और उन्होंने पूरे देश में आज ये संदेश दे दिया है कि जो राजनीति जनता चाहती है वो अपनी समस्याओं के समाधान की राजनीति चाहते हैं, अपने मुद्दों पर बात होनी चाहिए। हमारा पूरा प्रचार हिमाचल प्रदेश ने भी यही दिखाया, हमारा पूरा प्रचार यही रहा था कि जनता के मुद्दों पर हमें बात करनी चाहिए। वो मुद्दे हैं महंगाई, बेरोजगारी, भ्रष्टाचार। जनता विकास चाहती है और आज से दोनों हिमाचल प्रदेश और कर्नाटका ने इस देश को साबित कर दिया है कि ध्यान भटकाने वाली राजनीति अब नहीं चलेगी। कर्नाटका की जनता ने अपना ध्यान एकदम केंद्रित रखा, अपने मुद्दों पर रखा और ऐसा निर्णय लिया कि जो वहाँ पे जो भ्रष्ट सरकार थी उसको निकाला गया। तो सबसे पहले जैसे मैंने कहा उनको बहुत बहुत बधाई। फिर हमारे परम आदरणीय कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष जी खारगे जी और पूर्व अध्यक्ष जी श्री राहुल गांधी जी, उन्हीं के नेतृत्व में ये चुनाव लड़ा गया, उन्हीं की अगुवाई थी। भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में राहुल गांधी जी ने जो कर्नाटका से यात्रा निकाली उसमें जो 91 शायद या 91 से विधानसभा थी उनमें से 75% जीती गई है कांग्रेस द्वारा। कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष जी ने मन बनाया कि कांग्रेस को जिताना ही है। 1 महीने से वे कर्नाटका में रहे, उन्हीं के नेतृत्व में पूरा संचालन हुआ। श्री सिद्धरामैया जी और श्री DK शिव कुमार जी को भी बहुत बहुत बधाई। सारे जितने भी कर्नाटका में कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता हैं उन सब ने अथक परिश्रम किया, उन्हीं के परिश्रम की वजह से आज ये जीत हासिल हुई है। तो अब हम सबके दिल में यही बात होनी चाहिए कि एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है। हमने कुछ वादे किए हैं, कुछ गारंटीज दिए हैं जनता को, इनको पूरा करने के लिए हमें काम करना है और पूरी निष्ठा से जनता को ये दिखाना है कि एक अलग तरह की एक नई राजनीति इस देश में उभर सकती है जो विकास की बात करे, जो जनता के मुद्दों पर आधारित हो। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
और देश के अंदर एक आवाज होने लगी है, राहुल गांधी अब प्रधानमंत्री बनेंगे, कितना सहमत है?
देखिए, जैसे मैंने कहा एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है। हम जनता के सामने गए कुछ गारंटीज लेकर, हमें उन्हें पूरा करना है, जनता के लिए हमें काम करना है और आगे जनता ही बताएगी क्या होगा।
बजरंगबली की जीत है।
All right, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra there speaking in Himachal Pradesh where she was on the election results, talking about how the Congress and thanking the people of Karnataka, also saying they made promises to the people of Karnataka and their aim now is to fulfill that. We heard the journalist asking about that one comment that has been made that Rahul Gandhi should now be projected as Prime Minister. She said right now our focus is on what our responsibility is to the people of Karnataka. Congress leading in 137 seats, so a sweeping win. And there you can see pictures of Mr. Kharge and mithai also being exchanged between the Congress leaders. Mr. Surjewala, who was the in charge of the Congress in Karnataka. But the question now is who will be the Chief Minister and what does this mean going forward for Indian politics for 2024? We have in studio with us our guests who I introduced earlier. We also have with us Mohan Vishwa, BJP leader, and Ikram Sandhu, a Congress leader, joining us. Ikram Sandhu, first to you, congratulations on the performance of the Congress party. And the big question now is when will we know who will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka?
Good evening to all. Today is a joyous moment for all of us. And more than the Congress, I believe it's a very joyous moment for the whole nation. The people of Karnataka have shown the way that hatred, division, and pitting a brother against a brother will not work. So BJP has been consigned to the dustbin and Congress will come and solve the issues of the people. Now to do that, we need a government, as the question you have asked, and I can assure you the CLP is meeting tomorrow at 12 noon. Most of the MLAs who will get their certificates either today evening or tomorrow morning will be in Bangalore by that time. and Mr. Kharge is already there in Bangalore. So you can rest pretty assured that in the next 48 hours, we will know who's heading this combat. Plain and simple as that.
All right. Mohan Vishwa, what do you feel went wrong for the BJP?
See, in the democracy, we have to accept both, the win and loss. So we do accept the people mandate over here. And we do see, still we have not got the detailed report of all the constituencies. Once we get that, we do analyze what happened, what went wrong, what and all has happened. Probably the Congress strategy would have worked. They would have reached people better than us. That's what it looks like as of now. And also there were, certain constituencies where we lost by hardly very less margin. So why we lost? Say, for example, in Bangalore itself, 2 places we lost, in 100 votes. It hurts a lot, 100 votes. Okay. So these kind of things we will analyze, and we will rework ourselves and get it prepared for 2024, the general elections.
All right, and the Prime Minister's campaigning, that's something that's become quite a trademark for the BJP. You have the Prime Minister going into the state, which is headed for elections, and doing this wall-to-wall campaigning, road shows, etc. And he did it here as well. He even put out a message to the people of Karnataka the day after campaigning closed. And even then, do you think, that didn't work, or is that why you feel you still managed to get, you're saying some of the seats were very closely fought?
See, always the people of Karnataka, if we see in the past also, their voting pattern is totally different when it comes to assembly, when it comes to union election. And the Prime Minister visited our state a lot from past 10 months to 1 year. If we take, he has visited for inaugurating a lot of development activities, which is done by our double engine government. The impact of Prime Minister can be seen in Bangalore city itself, where we were able to retain all the 15 seats with good amount of margin, and we lost 3 in hardly 100 numbers. So that has worked out for us in the city of Bangalore. The rest of the state, as I said, we have to analyze each and every constituency in detail. And, the state election and the central elections are totally different. And by sitting in the opposition party, we do take up the responsibility, and we will ensure that Congress should implement whatever guarantees they have given in the manifesto, or the, those things which they went into the people, that we are going to do it. And they should implement it. That's what they have to do. What
right.
they have been promised.
Sandhu, I saw you want to reply to that.
Yeah, Gargi, thanks a ton for that. I was there last week, and there was a comparison. This was ordinary voters who gave me this comparison, and this is verbatim that they said. They said that in October, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was in Karnataka during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, and he walked with us on our dusty bylanes. And here is the Prime Minister who sits in a 1 crore SUV, air-conditioned on, and you have these electric pumps which are showering petals on him. So they said, they call him the Yuvraj, but actually he's the Shahenshah. And this is actually a thing that the common voter told us. And that is where we realized that this election has tilted. Because Mr. Modi since 2014 has been going about that I am the fakir, main to jhola leke aaya tha, jhola leke chale jaunga. And people have now realized, and Kannadikas have shown the way, that here is a man who's a past master at, playing the victim card, but actually he's the Shahenshah, and the one that they call the Yuvraj has walked with them, understood their problems, heard what they had to say, and made 5 simple promises to take care of the needs of the people, and those will be delivered and implemented in our first 1 month of government. That is assurance that we give the people.
We can also see those celebrations at the Congress office. But yes, Mohan Vishwa, quickly just respond to that, and I'll go across to my guests as well.
See, I thought at least my Congress friend, at least during celebration will not lie. See, what was Manmohan Singh doing when he was a Prime Minister? He was also going in the same SUV, right? And we saw what threat Mr. Prime Minister Modi had in the state of Punjab.
Situation.
He wasn't an event manager. He didn't have lakhs and lakhs of people.
These kind of immature comments should not be made on the day of celebration. I do congratulate him. I do congratulate Congress. Okay, it's a highly immature statement.
All right,
it's a
we'll
Prime
have to leave
Minister
it there.
protocol.
Thank you both for joining us. Let me also go across to my colleague Pratibha, who joins us from Bengaluru. And Pratibha, tell us, the big question now is that who will become the Chief Minister? And we believe there are going to be meetings. Today there's a key meeting. Tomorrow at noon, the CLP. And but even then, it seems that the final decision is going to be left to the Congress High Command.
Well, that's right. I mean, much has been said about Congress's victory, yes, but right now all roads lead to Mr. Kharge's residence, and I have placed myself a few meters away from the residence due to signal issues. But then most of the leaders have already visited Mr. Kharge, starting from Mr. Surjewala to KC Venugopal, who have given Mr. Kharge their congratulatory messages, distributed sweets, and right now what we see is Mr. DK Shivakumar, who's just made an entry into Mr. Kharge's residence. There will be a high-level meeting that will be held among all the top leaders of the Congress, and soon after the MLAs arrive from their respective constituencies, there will be a legislature party meeting that will be held likely tomorrow, where they would unanimously select a CM candidate, and that would be a choice between DK Shivakumar as well as Siddaramaiah. And post that, this decision would be conveyed to the High Command, who will then take a call and perhaps give the throne, the CM's throne, to either DK Shivakumar or Siddaramaiah.
All right, Pratibha, thanks so much for joining us. Pratibha, they're reporting from outside Mr. Kharge's residence, and that seems where everyone is currently headed as the Congress celebrates their sweeping win in Karnataka. Now, let's talk about what this victory means. And Ajoy Bose, first to you, what does this mean going forward for the Congress as well as for the BJP?
Well, firstly, I think as far as the Congress is concerned, it gives them a boost. I mean, for a party which has been really down in the dumps, fading almost across India, no longer the dominant party, and really now becoming even, equated more and more with a regional sort of party. However, the Himachal victory first and now with Karnataka, both these victories do give them some kind of thing to look up to. As far as the BJP is concerned, the very fact that the Congress can now say BJP Mukt South India is something which will hurt, because they had got Karnataka as one place in South India. To lose that is, of course, a blow, and I think that has a larger significance.
All right, Sanjay.
Finally, as far as 2024 is concerned,
the big question.
It is quite silly, obviously, to extrapolate state elections necessarily with national elections. But the fact of the matter is that this time, I think the opposition, every single regional party, quite apart from the Congress, is aware that the BJP is no longer the old BJP. It doesn't really believe in a federal structure. It doesn't believe in this thing. It wants to dominate the country as one party. They've made it very clear over the past several years. So I think every regional party is aware of that. And I think they will try their best. Whether successfully or not, I do not know. But they will try to join hands, at least have an understanding between each other.
And this raises the Congress's stature.
Congress's also ability
you have Mamata Banerjee tweeting about it, you have Hemant Soren.
And I think that it does, to some extent, make the 2024 contest a little more interesting. Not, most people were saying, we know that Modi will win again. What's the point of discussing it? It's a boring. Now we are now like China and, North Korea and, Turkey and everything. There will be only one party and the rest of the opposition does not matter. I think it makes it a little more interesting.
Little more interesting, that much you'll grant. We'll get more comments on what the Karnataka results mean. But for the moment, we'll just slip into a short break and return with more.
It is game, set, match for the Congress in Karnataka. Hello and welcome. People of Karnataka have spoken. Prime Minister Modi has now congratulated the Congress for its Karnataka win, tweeting, Best wishes to them in fulfilling the people's aspirations. The big story right now, the Congress has returned to power in Karnataka, and with this loss, the BJP has lost control of the lone southern state under its rule. The Congress's seat tally currently stands at 137 with the BJP at 64, the JDS just at 20. The Chief Minister, Baswaraj Bommai, has conceded defeat. That was earlier in the day. The Prime Minister's tweet coming out more recently. Mr. Bommai has conceded defeat with his party leading in only 60 plus seats in the 244 member assembly, saying that despite the best efforts by the PM, by cadres, we were not up to the mark. So take a look at your screens right there. The Karnataka Assembly comprises of 224 seats with 113 seats needed to form the majority, and the Congress currently at 135 seats, well above the halfway mark of 113 with about 64 seats. The BJP's number falling well short of its 2018 performance when at 104 seats. Now, the BJP leaders were hoping to break that 38-year jinx of Karnataka not voting an incumbent to power, but that was not to be. And Congress workers and leaders who were desperately looking to reverse its electoral fortunes and position itself as the main opposition player in 2024 are jubilant. And the Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has lauded the people of Karnataka for the grand old party's success in these assembly elections. She's calling it a victory of the politics to unite India. Remember, the Congress is openly linking the Bharat Jodo Yatra to the Karnataka results. The Congress is putting out a report card. They're showing how, according to them, the party has benefited from the Rahul Gandhi-led Bharat Jodo Yatra. The Congress's communication chief, Jairam Ramesh, the Rajya Sabha MP, has put out a table comparing the party's performance in the 20 assembly seats through which the Yatra passed. The Yatra spent some 22 days in the state of Karnataka, and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra claims that that has paid off. The results have shown itself today in this thumping victory.
आज से दोनों हिमाचल प्रदेश और कर्नाटका ने इस देश को साबित कर दिया है कि ध्यान भटकाने वाली राजनीति अब नहीं चलेगी। कर्नाटका की जनता ने अपना ध्यान एकदम केंद्रित रखा, अपने मुद्दों पर रखा और ऐसा निर्णय लिया कि जो वहाँ पे जो भ्रष्ट सरकार थी उसको निकाला गया। तो सबसे पहले जैसे मैंने कहा उनको बहुत बहुत बधाई। फिर हमारे परम आदरणीय कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष जी खारगे जी और पूर्व अध्यक्ष जी श्री राहुल गांधी जी, उन्हीं के नेतृत्व में ये चुनाव लड़ा गया, उन्हीं की अगुवाई थी। श्री सिद्धरामैया जी और श्री DK शिव कुमार जी को भी बहुत बहुत बधाई। सारे जितने भी कर्नाटका में कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता हैं उन सब ने अथक परिश्रम किया, उन्हीं के परिश्रम की वजह से आज ये जीत हासिल हुई है।
All right, so it is a thumping victory for the Congress, but they are now tasked with the uphill task of deciding who the Chief Minister is going to be. And all eyes are on the Congress right now as they are tasked with this decision of who's going to be Chief Minister. The Congress is to hold a key meeting at the party President Mallikarjuna Kharge's residence this evening. Attending will be Randeep Singh Surjewala, KC Venugopal, among the leaders present in that CLP meeting. The Congress earlier in the day declared in a tweet that it had won the Karnataka elections, and at that point of time the party leadership issued instructions to the winning Congress candidates to come to Bangalore immediately. And joining us now, Shrija, NDTV Shrija and Pratibha, they're on the ground there, they're monitoring this fast developing story. Shrija, both Mr. Siddaramaiah, the two candidates that they have, Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. Shivakumar, they are powerful leaders with strong support base, and perhaps that is why the Congress had not named a presumptive chief minister in this election so far, but you can only put it off for so long.
Well, on one hand, of course, the BJP was very optimistic, and they wanted to clearly, especially break that anti-incumbency cycle, that trend, which, Karnataka has always been seeing, the revolving door politics since 1985 onward. But clearly, they miserably failed. It's a humiliating defeat of the BJP under the leadership of Basavaraj Bommai right here in the state of Karnataka. And you're looking at a thumping victory for the Congress under the leadership of DK Shivkumar, the Congress chief, and also, in fact, Chidambaram, the former Chief Minister of Karnataka and leader of the opposition. Yes, we understand the Congress did in fact target a number of at least about 140 initially, then the number in fact increased to nearly 153, but now it is almost closely touching to it's over a little over 135 seats is what we are looking at. The counting is still underway at this point in time, and it's definitely a huge victory as far as the Congress is concerned. And the Congress was absolutely very sure of the fact that they will return to power. But they did, of course, had a few risk analysis worked out that if they are unable to secure at least a halfway mark, they would be, in fact, looking at the various independents. But they were also, in fact, trying to team up with the JDS. But they the Congress themselves had a few conditions, but right now it's gone completely in favor of the Congress, way above 135, and we are looking at a humiliating defeat for the BJP, where the numbers are much below 100. So clearly we see this is the mandate what Karnataka people have given, especially to the BJP. We just spoke to Ashwath Narayan. Now we have to talk about where 11 sitting MLAs, that is ministers, in fact, who have lost their fought from their respective constituencies, and 11 of them have won, and one of course was Mr. Ashwath Narayan, who we spoke to. He said that BJP accepts the defeat, but what could be the real reason? Why was it? Because when we did ask him a question with respect to, while you had Congress trying to reach out to people with poor scheme programs out to people with the five guarantees, while you had on the other hand the BJP reaching out to people with especially polarization, reservation, Tipu versus Savarkar. These were the major issues which in fact made a lot of noise. So he did, of course, did not deny that, but instead he did go on to talk about some of the schemes in terms of the NEP policy, which he believes could have secured them at least 150 seats, were not clearly communicated to the people of Karnataka. So that's where he believes, the Karnataka BJP went clearly wrong. But if we have to look at over the optics about the last few weeks, we have seen how the Congress had given more importance to their local leaders. It was completely local. It was local leaders, local issues, people. These were the key issues, the focus areas of the Congress. While on the other hand, you had the BJP, in fact, bringing in a lot of central leaders and, in fact, carpet bombing, and absolutely hardly any attention to the local leaders, and more importantly, not really the issues that matter to the people.
Well, it didn't pay off, it seems. We had everyone from the Prime Minister to the Home Minister to Smriti Irani to the UP Chief Minister. But like you're saying, the Congress kept its focus on keeping it local. But again, it goes back to that question. Now they have a dearth of local leadership and they have to pick a Chief Minister. So let's go across to Pratibha. Pratibha, the impressive performance by the Congress is credited to the fact, or the main takeaway of this election, as we heard Shrija there say, is the fact that the Congress kept it local. They said, we're going to stick to local issues. This is an assembly election. This is not a national election. We're going to stick with the local issues. But on the other hand, what we saw unusually for the Congress, especially, what we see in Rajasthan, etc., is that they kept a united front, even though they had two stalwarts of the, we have the Karnataka Congress's DK Sivakumar, and on the other hand, you have Mr. Chidambaram, former Chief Minister, and both of them have been known to be at loggerheads. But this time round, somehow they kept their issues at bay. They put together a coordinated, well-crafted joint front. They put out a clear, united front. But the question now is, who is going to be Chief Minister? And is there a meeting that's going to take place this evening? What can you tell us about that? I know there's going to be a press conference, and I think perhaps it's going to be addressed by both of these stalwarts.
That's right. In fact, the last couple of months have been a litmus test for the Congress, who had been looking for a morale booster, especially in a state like Karnataka after the BJP ruled its roost. Even though the Congress as well as the JDS formed the government in the last election, they could not really sustain for too long. But this time they're hoping that it has been a repeat of 2013 with a considerable majority that they've cleared this election with. And both Chidambaram as well as DK Shivkumar, like you rightly pointed out, did put up a united front, and it is perhaps this collective effort of the Congress that has really won them a hell of a lot in this election. But at the same time, both DK Shivkumar as well as Chidambaram have maintained throughout that it will be in the hands of all of the MLAs who would be at the end of the day electing the chief ministerial candidate, and that choice would be between DK Shivkumar as well as Chidambaram. Even though the elections have ended and we know for clear that it is the Congress that will be forming the government, we still do not know who the chief ministerial candidate would be, and all roads are now leading to Mr. Karge's residence. I'm here stationed right outside Mr. Karge's residence, and just now they did distribute sweets. They came out and they spoke about the entire collective effort that the Congress put in with respect to this election, and all of them together went in a set of convoy to the Congress office, and shortly from now the Congress leaders would be holding a press conference, and soon after that there would be a legislature party meeting. We'll have to wait and see whether all of the MLAs would be electing their chief ministerial candidate late tonight or tomorrow, and soon after, perhaps tomorrow by this time, we'll have the answer to your question whether it's DK Shivkumar or Chidambaram.
Well, never rule out anything in politics, Pratibha and Shrija. So the big takeaway today, the BJP has lost its only bastion in the south, and that is the big story at the south. The Congress leads have moved past 130 seats. That is way more than the mark needed to win this election. The BJP is around 60 seats or 60 plus seats, and the JDS, that's H.D. Kumaraswamy's JDS, only around 20. And the big takeaway, the Congress has been linking the Bharat Jodo Yatra to the Karnataka elections. They put out a report card. They are showing that it's clear that the party has benefited from the fact that Rahul Gandhi led this Bharat Jodo Yatra in Karnataka, and the Yatra spent 22 days at least in Karnataka. And according to the Congress's communication chief, Jairam Ramesh, the Rajya Sabha MP, it's paid off. And that's one of the main reasons why the Congress has performed as well as it has. According to the Congress, Jairam Ramesh has put out a table comparing the party's performance in 20 assembly seats through which the Yatra passed. So, the Congress's success due to a factor of issues. One, a big focus on local issues, as Shrija has been reporting there, avoiding getting entangled in Hindutva rhetoric, putting together a united front for the party's standards, and staying away from the situation that we've seen in Rajasthan. We have Mahima Singh, spokesperson of the Congress, and Mahesh Varma, leader of the BJP, and Kartikeya Batra, a political researcher who's still with us. Thank you, Kartikeya. Mahesh Varma, first to you. The Prime Minister has congratulated the Congress. The BJP has exceeded defeat over here, and now the BJP out of the only southern state that they had, and the opposition is going to point out then that the BJP is just a northern party state. Mahesh, I think Mahesh Varma, you just need to unmute, sir.
मेरा ये कहना है कि साउथ और नॉर्थ करके हमने चुनाव नहीं लड़ा। प्रधानमंत्री ने जो बधाई दी, और आज वाकई बधाई लेने की भी बात है, कांग्रेस बधाई ले, लेकिन साथ में कांग्रेस ये तय करे कि जिस इशू को लेकर कर्नाटक में वो गई और जनता को ये कहीं बताने जताने में कहीं सफल रही कि कांग्रेस, भाजपा जो है वो 40% के कमीशन लेती थी, भ्रष्टाचार था और भ्रष्ट सरकार थी। तो आज ये तय होना चाहिए कि जो 28 जो लोकायुक्त के जो छापे पड़े थे, जिन लोगों को 28 लोगों को जिनके घरों पे छापे पड़े, उनमें डीके शिव कुमार भी थे। और ऐसे लोग जिनके घर से 11 करोड़ मिला, 600 करोड़ की अवैध संपत्ति जब्त है, ऐसे लोगों को क्या वो सरकार में कहीं भागीदार बनाएगी? ऐसे भ्रष्ट आचरण के लोगों को क्या वो कंसीडर करेगी? ये अनाउंसमेंट होना चाहिए। दूसरा, जो डीके शिव कुमार ने अपने भाषणों में या अपने घोषणा पत्र में जो कांग्रेस कह रही थी कि हम आते के साथ जैसे ही सरकार बनाएंगे वैसे ही हम 4% मुस्लिम आरक्षण को बहाल करेंगे। तो सवाल यह है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश का इंतजार रहेगा या वो बहाली करेगी। तीसरा कि उसने ये कहा कि हम बजरंग दल को जो है बैन करेंगे। तो उसके बारे में अब क्या ख्यालात है? ये सब सिर्फ जो है राजनीतिक प्रोपगंडा था या सिर्फ ये सत्ता में आने का एक हथकंडा था? ये अब जो है खुलासा होना चाहिए। चौथी बात कि आज बड़े दुख के साथ ये कहना पड़ रहा है कि आज इस चीज के लिए एक ऐसे व्यक्ति को इस चुनाव का जीत का श्रेय दिया गया जिसका इस चुनाव से क्या वास्ता है, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है।
Mr. Verma, I'm sorry, sir, I'm interrupting you here. Just hold on for a second. I mean, all these things were mentioned as far as the campaign is also concerned, but at this moment, at least, the Congress party has overcome these attacks of the BJP to win this election. I'm now being joined by senior Congress leader, Mr. P. Chidambaram, who is joining us this evening. Mr. Chidambaram, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV, sir. First of all, congratulations. Your party has had an emphatic victory, a comprehensive victory in Karnataka.
Thank you on behalf of my party. Thank you.
I would like to start by asking you, sir, I was just going through a tweet that you had put out just a short while back. You said, in this tweet, you say that this election is more than an election of a state assembly. Why are you saying that, sir? Because the BJP has been saying that you win some, you lose some. For the Congress, it might be a big deal. We still hold majority of the states in the country.
It's funny that they say that now. Why did they not say that when the Prime Minister held 23 public meetings or rallies and over half a dozen road shows? Why did they say that when the Home Minister held more rallies and more road shows and practically camped throughout a month in Karnataka, and the president of the party camped there? So they did not treat it as an election to a state assembly election. They treated as a referendum on their so-called double-engine government.
Mr. Chidambaram, but the Bharatiya Janata Party would then say that we treat every election like this. The Prime Minister, the Home Minister goes to every state. We saw that extensive campaigning in the northeastern states where the BJP won 3 out of 3. In that context, how important do you think this victory is for the Congress Party? Because it's, after Himachal Pradesh, in a one-on-one contest with the BJP, largely which it now seems to be a bipolar contest in the state of Karnataka, how important is this for the Congress Party?
I think you hit the nail on the head. This is the first major election where it's more or less a direct fight between the BJP and the Congress. In the Northeast, the situation is very different. There are too many small regional parties, each affiliated to one area or a tribe, and therefore it is never a contest between the BJP and the Congress. Here, although the JDS is a party, it's a party with diminishing appeal. So it's the first major state where there's a direct one-on-one fight between the BJP and the Congress, and therefore we are doubly happy that the Congress has been able to defeat the BJP.
What would be the impact of this victory on the Congress Party going forward, sir? Important elections at the end of this year and then, of course, 2024. I mean, you also know that it's not that you can juxtapose what happened in Karnataka to 2024 election, but as far as the structure and the model of the Congress Party in fighting elections is concerned, what will be the impact?
I did not say anything about 2024. You brought in 2024. I'm not even looking forward to 2024 at this stage. What this election proves is that if the Congress Party has a basic organization, that organization can be rejuvenated at election time. It will require a little work in the run-up to the election, but a basic organization is intact. It can be rejuvenated. The Congress party in Karnataka was rejuvenated by, firstly, the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which went through several important parts of Karnataka, and secondly, by the united and spirited campaign of the leaders of Karnataka, and also with great help from Mr. Rahul Gandhi and others. Therefore, this proves that despite losing an election, the Congress party's basic structure, if it is intact, can be rejuvenated to win an election against enormous money power, enormous firepower, and enormous muscle power.
Mr. Chidambaram, what are the key factors that you think work for the Congress party, and has this election proven to be a model which can be replicated in other state elections as well? The Congress was very, very focused on keeping the election local in the face of some nationalistic issues, which were some polarizing issues also, which were picked up by the top leadership of the BJP. The Congress largely tried to keep it local. Is that a model that the Congress now thinks can be successfully used against the BJP?
That is the right thing to do in a state election which is not held simultaneously with a Lok Sabha election. If a state assembly election is held simultaneously with a Lok Sabha election, I think the dynamics are very different. But if a state election is a standalone election, I think the right thing to do is to keep it a local campaign, but in the undercurrent, there will always be national issues. The local issue here in Karnataka, the special local issue in Karnataka, was a massive corruption of the Karnataka government. It was named 40% Sarkara, not by the Congress, but by the people, the Contractors Association. It was called a 40% Sarkara government. That was the issue in the forefront. The other local issues were, depending upon the area and the district and the constituency, there were many, many local issues. For example, Karnataka, for its very high per capita income, in terms of human development indicators, is only a middling state. I wrote a column, I pointed out that in most HDI, Karnataka is a middling state, ranking about 14 or 15 out of 29 or 30 states. Therefore, obviously, there are serious gaps in the administration which people felt needed to be remedied. So the local issues dominated, but when the BJP brought in extraneous and irrelevant issues like Bajrang Dal and Bajrang Bali, I think it acquired a national perspective. It acquired it attracted national attention, and we returned the fire. We returned the fire to the best of our ability. And we pointed out, how does a reference to Bajrang Dal suddenly magically transform to a Bajrang Bali? And when the Prime Minister led his every speech, opened his every speech and closed his speech with a chant, Jai Bajrang Bali, I think that pointed out to the people of Karnataka that there's something dangerously going wrong in this election campaign.
Mr. Chidambaram, now all eyes at this moment in Karnataka after this comprehensive victory for the Congress party. There won't be any jitters. I was earlier speaking to Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi that, usually he's embroiled in these Operation Lotus kind of cases in the Supreme Court. So at least as a legal luminary, that problem for the Congress party won't happen in the state of Karnataka. Are you relieved in that sense, sir, with the numbers that have come in?
What is the problem in Karnataka? We'll form a stable government.
Precisely, that's what I'm saying. So you're relieved that the numbers have taken away any possibility of any kind of operation?
It robs the BJP's attempts It deprives the BJP of any distant attempt or a covert attempt to mount Operation Lotus. And I think the people understood that. The people understood that in 2018, the BJP did not come to power through a legitimate means. BJP came to power by manipulation, by deceit, and by money power. And they didn't want that shame descend on Karnataka once again.
Chidambaram, now all eyes are on who is going to be the chief minister. As far as Congress party is concerned, the state of Karnataka is concerned, we've seen how the leadership issue, when there have been two strong leaders in other states, have time and again come to fore. Rajasthan is still grappling with it. Is there a formula that the Congress party is looking at between Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. D.K. Shivkumar?
See, I am nobody to comment on who will be the chief minister of Karnataka. There are 136 or 137 MLAs who have gone through a grueling campaign, and they know the pulse of the people. They will meet tomorrow or day after, whenever, and they will express their views. Surely they will reflect the views of the people whom they are elected to represent, and the High Command will take into account the views of the elected MLAs and make a decision in the best interest of the party and in the best interest of the state of Karnataka. I think the Congress has done it so many 100 times over the last 60, 70 years. And why do you assume that the Congress cannot go through that very, very structured process to identify who will be the chief minister?
Who will you give the credit for this victory, sir? Already parties tweeting Mr. Rahul Gandhi's videos with the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Who gets the credit for this victory?
Obviously, Mr. Rahul Gandhi played a major role both through the Bharat Jodo Yatra and through his spirited campaign. But the main credit for the victory should go to the thousands and thousands of Congress workers who were either silent or dispirited. I think they were rejuvenated. The Bharat Jodo Yatra brought them out of their homes to the streets, and that momentum they kept up in the last 8 months or so, and they worked very hard. I visited Karnataka. I saw how hard, how earnest the Congress worker was in making sure that we win this time. And I think the bulk of the credit, the vast bulk of the credit must go to the Congress worker.
In the end, sir, my last question to you. Now Karnataka is looking like a bipolar state. JDS seems to be being edged out by the top players, the Congress and the BJP, the national players. Is that going forward an advantage for the Congress party when you are looking at, let's say, 2024 and thereafter? Or do you think that, some way the BJP did not have presence in the old Mysuru region before that? Now this would be an even Steven between the BJP and the Congress across the state?
No. I personally believe in a two-party system, or at most a three-party system. There could be states in which there is a three-party system, but by and large, I personally support a two-party system, and I would welcome a situation where the Congress is one of the poles in every state, and there is another pole. If that pole happens to be the BJP in many states, so be it. It's not for me to say who the pole should be. If the BJP is the pole in most of the northern states, so be it. Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand. The Congress is one pole and the BJP is another pole. So be it. But we will fight them directly. And merely because in some elections we lost to the BJP, it doesn't mean that we cannot defeat the BJP. The Karnataka election has proved that in a bipolar contest, it's not always that the BJP will win. The Congress can also win. Congress won in Himachal Pradesh, Congress won in Karnataka, and going forward, you will find that the Congress is able to defeat the BJP in bipolar contests.
Does this bolster the Congress's claim on the top contender against Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Will there be a Congress Prime Ministerial candidate against Prime Minister Modi in 2024, sir?
you are drawing this conversation into different directions which don't arise now, and I'm not going to fall into that trap. At the moment, I think our leadership has said we will be very happy if the non-BJP parties come together, and I think we should rest there. We should be very happy if the non-BJP parties come together.
Mr. Chidambaram, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to NDTV.
Thank you very much. Thank you.